Welcome to Singapore. I'm Eugene, and to my right is local legend Philip Lai, known for his creativeness in building unique, interesting armies, such as this French Indochinese army my Japanese would be facing. He uses historical photographs to build his platoons, and this platoon included a German Foreign Legion squad, a couple of squads of local Vietnamese militia, the Tonkin Rifles, and amongst other things, this really interesting and cute World War I trench gun. We played our game on the 6x4 foot table with the terrain representing a small trading town in rural North Vietnam, somewhere close to the Chinese border. This river forms the border between China and Vietnam in 1940. I moved my Japanese in from the north using all available cover, such as this low fence, to advance towards the depot. Philip moved his army through the center of the village, and he covered his left flank with this anti-tank gun that you can see, this World War I vintage weapon, supported by one squad of Tonkin Rifles. And they moved into that jungle on the left of the table, left center. I covered my right just with a squad of scouts. So once Philip had occupied the village, his officer then ordered the armored car towards the river, supported with that infantry, whilst my army was moving towards the depot and the river. As you can see, they are coming down from the north. Philip's officer took up position in a house from where he was able to give orders to his left and right flank. That armored car of Phil's kept my little tankette hidden for the first part of the game. I was concerned that Phil would concentrate his attack against the depot with that mass, so I moved aggressively into that center building, hoping to split his army, and I also moved a squad onto the veranda of the depot. This got me the perfect response because Phil actually split his army, trying to attend to the house and to the depot. So he ordered his armored car across the bridge, and as happened historically, Phil's armored car was spotted by a mountain gun, and that mountain gun fired and bam, took out Phil's armored car. It was nice to have something historical happen. Once Phil's armored car was taken out, my tankette was able to make an appearance, and even my officer began to push towards the river. Phil had no choice but to use his veteran squad to attempt to take out my Japanese at the depot. So we're going to have close combat. My Japanese against these Foreign Legion Germans of Phil's on the steps of the warehouse. I've got 7 dice. 7 dice needing, you veterans, right? 7 dice needing 5s, and you have 5 dice needing 4s. So it's my 7 dice needing 5s, Phil's 7 dice needing 4s. And you can roll your pink dice again. So you got 1, you can try and hit again. No, so it's just, that was a hit. So you got 1, 2, this was a 5. So you got 3 hits. And I've got 3 as well. 1, 2, 3 hits. So we each lose 3 men, and we fight some more. Right, so we've got to continue fighting. So I've got 4 dice, Phil's got 2, he needs 4s, I need 5s.
He's right, bro.
Oh, 1 each. So this is the 3rd round of combat for that same combat over there. So it's 1 of Phil's Foreign Legions against 3 of my Japanese. I've got 3 dice needing 5s. Phil's got 1 dice needing 4s. Alright, so I've won the combat. With the dice favouring the Japanese in that crucial melee, I was able to push my forces past the burning wreck of Phil's armoured car and cross the river and apply pressure on his right. Phil's Tonkin rifles dealt with my regulars in the building, but fortunately I was able to move in a medium machine gun to replace them, and they quickly dealt with the remaining few troops that had taken out my rifles. I was then able to infiltrate the village and close in on Phil's remaining units. Even my officer got across the river. The remaining Tonkin rifles, who were protecting their officer, fought on for a while, but eventually the pressure was far too much for them to hold out. Right, so Phil and I have just played a 500-point bolt action game. We've packed away, and now we want to have a quick chat. So, what army were you using?
I used the French Indochina troops, basically made up of mainly the Vietnamese riflemen that they recruit from the region of Tonkin, which is the North Vietnam, and of course 1 unit of French Foreign Legion, which is the core unit or the most veteran. Yeah.
That was quite a tough unit.
Correct. Yeah. Basically, they were Germans that sent away from French when the invasion started in Europe. Yeah. And of course, one of the vintage armor car left behind since World War I.
Right.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to playing you in this game because of the type of army. So Phil loves to he paints really well, and he loves to paint up these really unique forces. And the one you used today was a French Indochinese army. Is that right?
Yeah.
French Indochina army,
Yeah.
as you said, mainly from Vietnam area.
Yeah.
So anything that you learnt from the game?
The biggest mistake was also happened during, if I'm not wrong, during the real incidents when the Japanese crossed the border over from Guangxi province to Indochina, where the French sent out their local force to try to investigate, and the armor car was taken out almost immediately when they crossing the bridge and exposed a flank to the Japanese artillery.
Yeah. So as Phil's armor car was crossing the bridge, what's the name of that armor car?
AMD-50 is an upgraded version from World War I's AM-50. Yeah.
All right. So an early armored car, so almost obsolete by that stage, right?
Yeah, it's only used in Indochina.
It was only used in Indochina. Anyway, so apparently historically, this armored car was also taken out by HE, and it was actually my mountain gun that took it out while that exposed itself on the bridge. For me, what I try to do early in the game, and I feel like this might have been a mistake, is I wanted to draw your fire. Mm-hmm. So I moved one of my squads into a building quite close to you, mm-hmm. hoping to draw your fire, but in effect what happened was you took it out. Mm-hmm. So I think for me a lesson learned is not to isolate your units in combat.
Yeah, but I think one of the regret I have is remember I told you that by right the game should be the turn of 4. There's a chance that the French commander will say, okay, I have enough, surrender. But too bad he was killed in action before that. Yeah,
so Phil wanted to roll die after turn 4 because I pushed you into the corner, and he wanted to raise the white flag on a roll of a die. But unfortunately he was taken out by one of my scout teams.
So we try to recreate what really happens during the scenario was the French government just signed armistice with the Germans.
Right.
So the rest of the colony left with should I continue as an ally or Vichy? But of course later on the French Indochina choose to join the Vichy rather than the Allied. So why the Japanese invade them during the period it's a bit the Japanese also not certain where the French Indochina will will join.
I see. So did the Japanese invade French Indochina, modern day Vietnam, Cambodia? Did they invade that area because they weren't certain which side
Yeah.
the French colonial
Yeah.
troops would choose?
Also, like, remember I told you about the Chinese army?
Right.
The French have been like supplying the Chinese Provisional Army, especially in Yunnan and Guangxi,
Right.
with their supplies.
Right.
So one of the reasons is like once they see the French government already been defeated by the German,
Right.
so they try to first they want to like keep the French in check as
Right.
well as stop the French from supplying the National Revolution Army of China.
Oh, right. So basically, that invasion was to nip off the
Yeah.
supply further up.
Correct.
That's really interesting. It's so interesting playing Philly. That's so much knowledge. Did you enjoy the game?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.